Alright, so I am finally back with part 2 of my 16,000 subscribers special video. Thank you for all your feedback on my questions. You've given me some things to think about. Maybe some idea inspired by your responses will eventually get turned into a video. We'll have to see. Now on to your questions. Our first question comes from Shadow Jeremy 24. Jeremy asks, can you do top 10s on RescueBots Academy, Cyberverse, Prime, and Beast Wars episodes? Thank you for your question, Jeremy. Yes, I should definitely do some more top 10s. There's a lot that I've been meaning to do, especially RescueBots Academy. That would be a good excuse to rewatch and talk about that show again. Aw, I missed the recruits. They were so cute. Cyberverse, I'll probably wait until the 2 new mini-movies come out in a couple months. Or is it next month? But should I count them as episodes too? Also, for that matter, what about multi-parters? For example, the Battle for Cybertron and the End of the Universe 4-parters. Should I count each of them as one whole episode? What about the whole Quintesson Invasion arc? They may have had different titles, but they're basically all a part of the same 9-episode multi-parter. I'll have to think about that. As for Prime and Beast Wars, I'll do them after I finish reviewing each of those series. Our next question comes from OneJash77. Jash asks, where do you watch your Transformers shows? Thank you for your question, Jash. I'm usually either on the couch or at my desk when I'm watching Transformers shows. Unless you mean like a website or streaming service. In that case, I own just about every Transformers show on DVD or Blu-ray, so I usually watch them. Or my own rips of them since that's more convenient for me. But don't tell Hasbro, okay? There's some Transformers shows that don't have full releases, like RescueBots, which I unfortunately have to watch through YouTube. Luckily though, most of the episodes are on there and in good quality. But most of them seem to be part of a larger 1-hour block of RescueBots episodes. So hunting for a specific episode can be a bit tricky. If you can't afford to buy the physical copies of Transformers shows, I always suggest my viewers to go check out Tubi TV. It's a totally free, legal, and safe website where you can watch a lot of Transformers shows. Both ones that I'm currently reviewing, and ones that I may review in the future. They have G1, Beast Wars, Beast Machines, Animated, Armada, Energon, Cybertron, Prime, and a ton of other great non-Transformers shows too. I highly suggest checking them out. Although I think they are region locked to Canada and the US. So if you're outside of one of those 2 countries and Tubi doesn't work for you, you may need to use a VPN to skirt around those restrictions. You know, it's too bad that I'm not sponsored. Otherwise, this would be a perfect opportunity to plug one of those services. Oh, and speaking of services, of course Netflix is also another great place to find Transformers shows. I think most people have a Netflix account by now, or at least share an account with a friend or family. Hasbro themselves have also started uploading episodes of G1 to their YouTube account. So that's another place where you can officially watch Transformers. So yeah, between YouTube, Tubi, and Netflix, you can watch almost any Transformers show that you can think of. Other than maybe the Takara trilogy, unless of course you want to watch it dubbed, then you can easily find them on YouTube. But that's one of the reasons that I've held off on reviewing the Takara trilogy. Should I even address the dubs? Or strictly go by the original Japanese? And even the subbed version that I have, the official Shout Factory one, is not great quality. Next up we have a question from Rosa Pile. Rosa asks, will you review Transformers Armada? Thank you for your question, Rosa. So this is a question that I get a lot. When will you review Armada? When will you review Robots in Disguise? The other Robots in Disguise? Or whatever other Transformers cartoon? As I mentioned in part 1 of this video, I'll be finishing Transformers Animated very soon. As of the making of this, according to my calculations, I have about 5 animated reviews left. That's including multi-parters like Human Error and Endgame as one video each. So in 5 weeks, that'll sadly be the end of Transformers Animated. And to replace that, I was thinking of either doing another Transformers series, like Armada or Robots in Disguise, or like I mentioned doing in part 1, reviewing a non-Transformers series, like Pokemon or Avatar, which seemed to be the frontrunners for you guys going by your comments in my previous video. I'm hoping that I'll reach 17,000 subscribers before then, and then I can make a poll to let you decide which series I should review next. And for the record, I believe I have 44 episode reviews left to do in G1, including the long-awaited G1 movie review. Yes, to also answer Mohammed Fahmi's question in here as well, I will be doing a review of the G1 movie after Season 2. So I think you've got about 9 more reviews or weeks until that, which I think should put it somewhere in early January. Then I'll move on to Season 3 and 4. And after I'm done with the American G1, I was planning on reviewing the Japanese G1 trilogy. I am really looking forward to that. Beast Wars has about 30 episodes left. Then, after that, I was thinking either Beast Machines, or I could review the 2 Japanese Beast Wars series, Beast Wars the Second and Beast Wars Neo. Again, once we get closer to that, which probably won't be until April of next year. I'll put up a poll to decide then. Prime has about 27 reviews left, including the Predacons Rising movie, after which I'm planning to review Robots in Disguise, the 2015 one, since that is in continuity with that series. And that would basically be the last of the aligned continuity, because that will probably stretch past our final series, Rescue Bots, which has about 61 episodes left, I believe. After which, who knows? Maybe I'll review the original Robots in Disguise. That would actually be kind of appropriate, because if you watch the original RID, there are some similarities between it and Rescue Bots. It even has Steve Bloom in it, the voice of Heatwave.
You guys just made a big mistake. You're messing with the wrong crowd. Wars, transform!
So I'll probably review that series after Rescue Bots, assuming you guys don't choose it as the series I review after Animated. And not to completely gloss over Armada, which Rosa's question was originally about, I am very much looking forward to reviewing that as well, and the rest of the Unicron trilogy. In fact, not to sway your vote or anything, but I kind of hope you guys do pick Armada, because I'm already thinking of a cool running gag that I could do in every episode. But you'll just have to wait and see for that. Okay, that was kind of a long answer, so let's move on to a quick one. Next, we have Michaela Decina with a question. Once again, I want to apologize if I get anybody's names wrong. I am just terrible with names. So Michaela asks, when are you going to review the Transformers My Little Pony comic book crossover sequel, The Magic of Cybertron? Thank you for your question, Michaela. I have kind of been putting that second part off for a while, haven't I? I'm hoping to review it soon. Don't worry, it's definitely on my to-do list. Our next question comes from Tropical Snow, who asks, when rewatching or reviewing all these Transformer shows, did you ever change your opinion on any after rewatching? That's a great question, Tropical Snow. I don't know if my opinions have changed on series as a whole that I've rewatched. There's definitely some individual episodes that I've changed my opinion on, usually for the better, but there have been shows that I've previously passed on that I started reviewing and have actually grown to love them. Specifically, I'm talking about Rescue Bots and Rescue Bots Academy. After I finished reviewing Cyberverse, I was looking for something to review in between seasons. And that just so happened to be when Rescue Bots Academy started. Now, I never watched the original Rescue Bots because I sort of dismissed it as a little kid's show. So I didn't really have high hopes going into Rescue Bots Academy initially.
You may find it is more than meets the eye.
But of course, I soon grew to love that show and its characters. They were so cute and adorable. I was absolutely heartbroken when Rescue Bots Academy ended. But luckily, there was still the original Rescue Bots series for me to check out. And I'm glad to see that, from what I've watched so far, it's just as wonderful as its successor. I may have skipped it when it first came out, but I'm glad I'm watching it now. I absolutely love these shows, which I almost didn't check out at all. Next, we have Angelica with a question. Angelica asks, if you were to have more free time in your daily life, what are some of the things that you would like to do? Thank you for your question, Angelica. If I had more free time, one of the things that I would like to do is exercise more. I'm not afraid to admit that I've put on a few pounds, like I imagine most people have during this past year or so. So I'd like to get out there and exercise more. I'd love to get really fit, like just super toned and defined. Not too swole, but something where I can be proud to be seen in a swimming suit. Remember to get at least a little exercise every day. And if I really had a lot more free time, I would like to play more video games. I rarely have time for games these days, and there are so many that I want to play. Plus, I would really like to finally start that video game channel that I've been talking about. For this next question, I'm going to combine two questions because they're basically asking the same thing. A troll, hopefully they're the cartoon kind of troll, not the internet kind, but a troll asks, what's the best version of Starscream? And similarly, Joshua Davies asks, out of every show, series, comics, or any canon, what is your favorite version of Starscream? My answer to both of these questions would have to be Armada Starscream. He is the best version of Starscream. He is my favorite version of the character. I love his design, especially when he gets his power up, which makes him look like Thundercracker.
It looked like Thundercracker.
Because I love Thundercracker's color scheme. I'm kind of a sucker for blue bots, especially like blue and white or blue and gray. For some reason, I think they're really cute. Mirage, Trax, Beachcomber, RC, Chromia, Whirl. Oh, Primus. I can't imagine how I'm going to feel once I start watching Robots in Disguise, and I get to learn more about Strongarm. I'm probably just going to melt. I can see myself totally crushing on that girl hard. Wait, what were we talking about? Oh right, Starscream. I also love bad bots who turn good. Dinobot, Black Arachnia, Blitzwing, and I'm sure there's many others that I'm forgetting. I just love Starscream's character arc in Armada. It's just amazing. So different from any other version of Starscream, but he's such a great character for it. Next up, we've got a question from Cybern Sam. Sam asks, so if your OC is a 6-changer, could she still go through the additional mode unlocking process that we see in Rescue Bots that allowed Heatwave to scan a 3rd form, or in your OC's case, a 7th form? If so, what would her extra form be? That's a good question, Sam. Although, my OC does actually already have a 7th mode, but it's a secret. I'll wait to reveal that when I eventually do some kind of official fiction for her. But more to your point, if she did have an additional mode, I would like it to be something that her toy could actually transform into, using the Titan's Return 6-shot figure as a base. But if I could pick any mode, it would probably be another beast mode. I'm thinking maybe some kind of bird or something. Our next question comes from Jacqueline Nakayama. She asks, hi Ultra Primal, what do you think of a Transformers OC based on Brazil? A Brazilian Transformer? I love your videos. Aw, thank you, Jacqueline. I would love to see more Transformers based on different countries and different parts of the world. Obviously, my OC is very much based on Canada, with her chest even mimicking the Canadian flag. I thought about giving her a maple leaf instead of a heart for her emblem, but I didn't want to alienate people from other parts of the world. Plus, it's harder to draw a maple leaf than a heart, and I didn't want to put my artist through that. But yes, I would love to see people with Transformers OCs based on their own countries or regions. That's something I loved about Cybertron, and kind of Masterforce to some degree. While the Transformers may not have been based on specific countries, a lot of them had very different accents. Although most, if not all of them, were still played by Canadian voice actors. But it was pretty cool that there were French Transformers, Aussie Transformers, Scottish Transformers, etc. After all, why should alien robots only have American accents? Or the occasional British accents? Although I have yet to see a Transformer with an actual Canadian accent. And the Ocean Group was doing Transformers for like a decade. They couldn't have slipped just one Canadian Transformer in there somewhere? Come on, boy. Even Masterforce technically had, what, 2 Canadian Transformers in the form of Lightfoot and Ranger? But we don't really know if they had Canadian accents because, well, they were in Japanese. But yes, I would love to see more Transformers, either OCs or official, be based on different countries. Next, we have a question from Silver Claude. Or is it Silver Claude? Again, apologies if I got your name wrong. Silver asks, what type of movies do you like to watch? Thank you for your question, Silver. I like to watch a lot of different movies. As you may tell from part 1, I do tend to favor sci-fi and superheroes. But I do like other types of movies, whether it be comedies, action-adventure, romance, animation, etc. Although I don't know if I should even say this because it feels like it kinda totally goes against my brand, but a bit of a guilty pleasure of mine are horror movies. I don't watch many horror movies. I'm not like James Rolfe or someone who watches a lot of them. I have a little more specific taste in horror. I definitely prefer the more comedic ones. Like The Babysitter, which I think is just great. Although that may be because she reminds me of my actual babysitter when I was a kid. I mean, it's normal to have a crush on your babysitter when you're a kid, right? I think. And I do remember that she liked to watch Buffy, which when I was a little kid I didn't really get, but after watching it years later, I loved that show. So I kind of had a cool babysitter when I was a kid. Luckily, she didn't try to sacrifice me to the devil or anything. But yeah, I definitely say I prefer stuff like Marvel, DC, Star Wars, that sort of thing most of all. Next up, we have a question from CyberGom, who asks, what would your OC do if they landed in the Shattered Glass universe? Thank you for your question, CyberGom. First of all, I think she would wonder why there's this guy that looks just like her. Seriously, Hasbro, when can I expect my Shattered Glass 6-shot, aka Ultra Primal figure? But second, she would probably try to figure out what's going on and try to see if she can help them come to a peaceful resolution, just like she does whenever she visits a new universe. If not, then she'd probably try to help the good guys as much as she could before she had to leave. Our next question comes from Moonstar the Peacekeeper. Okay, now this one I'm actually going to cheat a little bit, because Moonstar actually asked 2 questions, but since I kind of already answered her first one, and because I really like her second one, I'm going to answer her second one now. So Moonstar asks, speaking of minicons, if your Transformers OC had her own minicon, what would it look like and what would she call it? Thank you for your question, Moonstar. This is actually something that I've thought of before. And I would love for my OC to have her own sort of robot dog minicon. I love dogs myself. And I would love for my OC to have one of her own. Plus, she turns into a wolf herself. I can see if someone tried to mess with her little puppy minicon, then she would go all Mama Wolf on them. It would also be cool if it could turn into a weapon for her, like a Battlemaster, or one of the Breast Force's cute little animal partners. As for what they would be called, I don't know. If you have any suggestions, let me know down in the comments. Next up, we have a question from Coolman227, who asks, if 6-shot never existed, Who would your OC be based on? Or would you have done an original design not based on any other Transformer? P.S. You are awesome. Aw, thank you so much, Coolman227. When I was first creating my OC, it was actually either between Six-Shot and Megatron/Galvatron from the original Robots in Disguise. I love multi-changers, so it would have had to have been one of those two. I forget why I went with Six-Shot, so my OC could have easily have been based on RID Megatron/Galvatron, aka Car Robot's Devil Gigatron. I do have an idea for another OC based on that mold, but we'll see. Our next question comes from TFFan102, who asks, do you have any favorite video game series that you enjoy the most? Thank you for your question, TFFan102. Yes, Zelda. Zelda. I love Zelda. If you've been watching my videos for a while, you know I'm a massive Back to the Future fan. And I would have to say that I'm equally as much a Zelda fan. For me, it's Transformers, then a close tie for second is Back to the Future and Zelda. I've been playing since Ocarina of Time, and I've played almost every Zelda game since then, other than some of the handheld Zelda games. I really do need to play Oracle of Ages and Seasons sometime, because I hear they're pretty good. I've mostly stuck to the 3D Zelda games. I think Breath of the Wild might be my favorite Zelda game. I played it twice on the Wii U, including the DLC, and then I got the Switch, where I played it twice again, and bought the DLC again and everything. I even created a second account on my Switch just so I could play through again fresh without deleting my original saves. And now, when I have the time, I'm playing through the game again, but this time on PC with the Linkle mod. I've actually put some gameplay clips of Linkle in videos expecting people to be like, wait, that's not Link, that's a girl! But nobody seems to have noticed. I really hope that they let you play as a girl version of Link, or Linkle, or Zelda, or something like that in a future Zelda title. Don't get me wrong, I love my boy Link. But just look at some of the super cute outfits that Linkle has. She's adorable. I mean, look at this. She's basically Sailor Moon. It doesn't really make sense in a Zelda game, but it's cute. Or look at all the dye options for this one. If you change it to a certain color, the mask changes to the Keaton mask, the Mask of Truth, the Deku mask, or a Pikachu mask. Aww, so cute. But yes, I love Zelda. If I ever were to start a gaming channel, it would be hard not to just do a different Zelda game every day of the week. Next up, we have a question from Cars FNAF, who asks, hi Ultra, what characters would you like to see brought back from G1? I love your videos. Aw, thank you Cars FNAF. I kind of touched on this a few weeks ago in my G1 Retro review, but I would love to see them bring DevCon back in a Transformers cartoon. I think it would be great to see him and Lockdown together in an episode. Maybe they team up, maybe they compete to try and get a bounty. Maybe both? One of the things that I liked about the War for Cybertron trilogy is that they had Transformers that weren't aligned with the Autobots or Decepticons. So I'd like to see them do more with that. Have more mercenaries, more bounty hunters, stuff like that. Also, I don't think I've really seen a new version of Trax in a long time. I think his biggest appearance since G1 is his little cameo in Transformers Animated. I'd love to see a modern version of the character. I imagine he'd be like an Autobot version of Knockout. And finally, we have our last question, which comes from Angel Powers, who asks, who is your #1 Fembot? Thank you for your question, Angel Powers. Looking at all the Fembots across various continuities, overall, I think my #1 Fembot would have to be RC. I don't think there's any version of the character who I don't love, or at least like for the most part. I love Cyberverse RC. I love that she's not only a great fighter, like every other version of RC, but she also loves animals, taking selfies, and playing video games. Seriously, can she be my robot girlfriend already? Prime RC may ditch the traditional pink, but like I mentioned previously, I love blue bots too. And she's such a deep and awesome character. She really stands out from her multiversal sisters. I also absolutely adore animated RC because she's a teacher. You gotta love a fellow educator. Movie RC may have had a tragically short time on screen in Revenge of the Fallen, but I'm glad that she and her sisters were in the movie. If anything, I would have liked to see Hasbro go with their original plan and had RC be a part of the original movie cast instead of Ironhide. I think that would have been really interesting. Maybe she and Michaela could have had some cool moments together. But I am glad that she at least made a cameo in the Bumblebee movie. Energon RC is okay, I guess. It has been a while since I've watched Energon. I like that she worked together with Kicker, who didn't seem to have any problems with riding her, and she was a pink motorcycle, so I don't see why Jack couldn't ride a pink motorcycle too. But oh well. And I like that as an Omnicon, she's fairly unique. In the show, you'd often see multiple duplicates of Signal Flare, Strong Arm, and Blastoff, but not RC. At least not that I can recall, making her more of an individual than her Omnicon brothers. And finally, we have G1RC, the original, the one who started it all. The first Fembot in Transformers to be a main cast member, played by the incredible Susan Blue, who went on to voice direct Beast Wars, Beast Machines, Animated, and the first 11 episodes of Transformers Prime, meaning that she's had a hand in some of the best Transformers series to ever exist. Alright, so I think that's it for my 16 questions for 16K. Technically, that's a few more than 16. Okay, you know what? Let's do a few more. Bonus round. Goddess Ulu asks, what is your favorite series? If we're talking Transformers, Beast Wars. I think I say that at the beginning of every one of those reviews. If we're talking non-Transformers, can I count the entire DC animated universe as a series? If not, then maybe Spider-Man? Stormy asks, if you were able to change anything, like anything in any Transformers show that you have reviewed or are reviewing, what one and what would it be? Well, other than giving shows like Animated, Cyberverse, and Rescue Bots Academy another season of shows that I've reviewed, I'd like it if those last two were the more traditional 22-minute episodes instead of 11 minutes. Although, again, that's kind of just giving those shows more time. I haven't reviewed the show yet, but I would like to see Starscream in Energon still be the same character he was in Armada. I'm not sure if he had ghost amnesia or something, but it was kind of disappointing. I think it would have been much more interesting to see him be more in conflict with the Decepticons, instead of Megatron's number 2 guy. And to a greater extent, I would have liked to have seen Cybertron more closely connected to Energon and Armada. It seems that by the time Energon or Galaxy Force rolled around, Takara was not really too hot on it being a continuity of the previous two series. And Hasbro was kind of wishy-washy on it too. I mean, I think there's even a line in Cybertron somewhere, when Optimus Prime and Wing Saber combine, someone says how they've never seen anything like this happen before. To which the audience is like, are you serious? What about when Optimus combined with Wing Saber in the previous series? Or with Jetfire in the one before that? I think having the Unicron trilogy actually be a more cohesive and well-connected trilogy would have helped it a lot. Bumbleboys asks, do tell, what is your Zodiac sign? Or better yet, just your birth month, so we can annoy you by saying happy birthday. So my Zodiac is Scorpio, and my birth month is November. In fact, I have the exact same birthday as a famous mouse. Although not the same year, obviously. I'm clearly not as old as him. although I'm starting to feel like it. But yeah, I would love for you all to wish me happy birthday. But, in November, not right now. And our last question comes from Ajka Kadak, who asks, "Hey Ultra Primal, what do you think of the idea to make you some fan art of your favorite characters and your OC?" Yes. I would love to see people do some fan art based on my OC, my favorite characters, or things I mentioned in my videos. I haven't received very much fan art so far, but what I've gotten, I absolutely adore. I treasure them so much. Just the idea that people love my content so much that they would take the time out of their day to create art based on it, I can't tell you how much that means to me. By the way, shout out to Jelu A. Kurama and Robertson Skywalker for their cute artwork. So yes, feel free to send me any Ultra Primal fan art you make. Drop a link in the comments, or mention me on Twitter. I would love to see your art. If you need some references, well, obviously there's my videos. But if you need some more, here's a bunch of commissions for my OC that I've had done. Feel free to come back to this video and pause if you need to. And of course, now that the human version of my OC is somewhat officially revealed, feel free to draw her in that form too. I know some people have an easier time drawing humans than they do Transformers. So you can always draw her in that form too if you prefer. I've already done various versions of her in different outfits based on different shows. I'd love to see you draw her in other outfits based on other shows, or alternate takes on ones that I've already done. It's up to you. Not that you should feel obligated to draw anything, nor should you draw something just for the hopes of being featured in a future video. I'm just saying that I love to see fan art based on my work. But who knows? Maybe if people do a lot more fan art, I might start an art challenge series, where I give you guys a prompt, and then the next week I show off your art and give you another prompt. I don't know, would that be something you'd be interested in? That would be something that I'd love to do, but it would be a video entirely fueled by you, my awesome fans. Speaking of which, thank you all so much for 16,000 subscribers. It really means a lot to me. So once again, thank you for all your support, and hopefully there's a 17,000 subscriber special video in the near future.